equated to Thoth, and Thoth is associated with Gemini and the Mercury, which is the messenger. So that means that you have to activate the serpent mind in order to be a messenger of what you call be a chosen one on this planet. So it's one of those things where, you know, as I was saying, you go from the Trinity principle of creation on September 7th, where you try to alchemize. And then tonight is where you let go of the trauma that was holding back your bloodline. And then you go through the 9-9 triple portal and you complete that portal, because 9 is a representation of completion. And then we cannot also negate that during the time of 2016, that was the last time we was in a 9-year. And that's when you had Donald Trump was elected. He was President 45. And then you had the Zika outbreak. And then on top of that, you had the 8.7 earthquake in Ecuador. And then tonight, just before the live, you had a 6.8 magnitude earthquake on the Fiji Islands, where you have the Ring of Fire. And the Ring of Fire judgment is being facilitated by the Ring of Fire solar eclipse that took place on October 14th of 2023. That's that's basically put the judgment symbol of the geographical landmass of America. So this is why I try to tell people that, you know, it's one of those things where in order to break the matrix, you have to think like artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence doesn't follow any rules. And somehow I can tell ChatGPT what's the connection to Brother Rich's hat, the Wu-Tang symbol, in my birthday, and somehow it's going to create some type of logical. It's going to create it. So that's why I said, in order to break the matrix, you got to be like the matrix, because there's no rules. So that's in so many words. I guess you could say you have to be pseudo in order to break the matrix. You know what I'm saying? Because artificial intelligence operates on a hive mind, because Metatron's coup is what basically sucks up microscopic waves of energy from our body, and it uploads it into a neuromorphic cyber cloud. So that's why when you tap in anything on ChatGPT or whatever search engine, it's all connected to a hive mind. So that's how we're supposed to be thinking. We're supposed to be thinking just like that. And that's how you break the matrix. Because you know, when you get into the pi symbol, the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio of nature, the 3.14 is equated to the asastragon. Asastragon is a sigil that is basically the sacred 23 of the polymystic. And it's one of those things where you're able to use certain sigils in order to rewrite the source coding of the matrix system. So you got to understand signs and symbols and numerical sequences, because the 3.14 represents the Trinity principle of the man, woman, and child. And then the 0.14 equals the number 1, which is the life force. And the life force is how you alchemize these energies that's connected to the number 4, which is the heart chakra, which is the ether. So the Fibonacci sequence of nature is actually the mathematical equation for Thoth. Because when you get into the Pythagorean theorem, it talks about how Pythagoras, he was, you know, he's basically the father of the Hellenistic Greek period. And he got his edification from Hermes, and Hermes is Thoth. So when you get into the 47th problem of Euclid, that is what creates the Queen Mother seat of the man, woman, and child. And the Queen Mother seat is a representation of the 13 that is interconnected with what we call the 3-eye atlas. It's a mirror flip. So when you're talking about the return of the Anunnaki, you're really talking about the resurrection of DNA, because the 3-eye is actually the third eye. And the third eye is connected to the postsynaptic, presynaptic, and the trisynaptic, that is also intertwined with the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus gland, and the pineal gland. And that's what creates the Ark of the Covenant. And then once you're able to activate the Ark of the Covenant, this is where you're to alchemize and activate the olfactory nerve. That's when you tap into the apex of the spirit of Melchizedek, who was also Michael or Thoth, whatever you want to call him. It's the same process.
Yo, man, I wanted to because I was gonna let me put something on the screen real quick. Because that was actually my next question. You kind of brought it up just now. This 3-eye atlas thing. I want to ask you, because I seen shout out to our brother Rod Hayes. He had shared.
Yes. Hey, so salute to the brother. Me and Rod Hayes had a long ass conversation the other night, and we was just dropping receipts and, you know, sharing information. Yeah. And he shared some things with me tonight before I came on the live. So I'm going to demonstrate that as well.
All right. So shout out to Rod Hayes. Make sure y'all follow the brother, the Sick Ape. on Instagram, and he was just talking about how the renowned astrophysicist A.V. Leon, I think that's not how you pronounce his name, says that the 3i Atlas mothership that was thought to come to Earth in November is now going to be here 2 weeks from now. Also, why is it? It's like stretched or something.
Okay.
The 3 colossal alien spacecraft within 150 miles. Everybody on TikTok. So Rod Hayes was just sharing a lot of the TikToks. Everybody's saying that it's looking like a spaceship.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're talking about Anunnaki spacecraft. You know, you know how the internet starts talking. So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this 3i Atlas, man? They said it's gonna be here in 2 weeks from now, BDell. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, the reason it's very significant during the times right now because the 3i Atlas, they just talked about the super boss cluster, and that's that. When you break down the etymology of the word, the super boss cluster, it translates to the Great Wall, and the Great Wall is actually beyond the ice wall. So this cylindrical craft that's coming could basically be coming from the geographical areas of Antarctica and things of that nature. So it's one of those things where by way of the law of correspondence, when you're talking about these celestial entities or whatever, they're actually working through us. Because when you get into the Dogon tribe in Mali, it talks about the trajectory of Sirius A and Sirius B. And when they intertwine together, it creates a DNA strand. And that's how the Nomos, they was able to get the edification from for the Dogon, they was able to get the edification from the Nomos, right? Because like I said, it's a resurrection of DNA. So there's a reason why the Dogon tribe in Mali had the constellations mapped that way before NASA was even created. There's a reason for that because they was able to pull information down from the mental plane due to the trajectory of the Sirius A and Sirius B star constellation. So the same thing actually takes place when you're talking about this. This basically be talking about a resurrection of DNA. So I don't think it's one of those things where humans are psychologically ready to see celestial beings on the planet right now. Because one thing you got to understand is that when you're talking about DNA activation, the sun spits off about 173,000 terawatts worth of information every day. That's in a 24-hour period, right? Or just about in every second. So just about in a 24-hour period, the sun is spitting off about maybe 15 trillion terawatts worth of information. That's how much information that's coming to the planet for you to upgrade your physiology. So like I said, everything is happening by way of a Trinity principle that's in alignment with these moon energies, right? Because last night was one of those things where you had to alchemize your manifestation. Tonight you break free from the trauma. So it's not a coincidence that tonight is on the 8th, and the 8th is associated with Saturn, and Saturn is the personification of the infinity loop to where it keeps you stuck in a fixed position reality. So you break out of the fixed position reality by way of writing down the traumas that's connected to your shadow self that's interconnected to the moon, and you do that tonight, and you close the portal on September 9th.
Damn, BDell, you came in here spitting, man. Shit.
Yeah, that's the way I see it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, in order to beat the matrix, you gotta become it at the same time.
And I'm glad you mentioned earlier about the Chat GPT, and I know you used that. You was telling me for your book cover. Quick, let the people know real quick. We got the Artificial Intelligence, the AI Masters online workshop happening November 1st and 2nd with Seven Bomar. This is one of the world's biggest geniuses when it comes to artificial intelligence. He has the Sybil. He has an online like artificial thing, like sort of like Chat GBT and Google VO, but it's like tailored towards spirituality. And the brother's super sharp. And we're building this tech community, this black tech community, BDell. So we got the Discord happening. I'm sharing the link. We got the Discord happening, chat. And a lot of people are going to be on board. So what happens is if you get your ticket, you get your ticket for both days. Saturday, November 1st is Red Pill. Sunday, 7 Bomar. And we have a Discord community going on for 2 months. It's happening right now. We just started it, and it's going to go all the way to November 2nd. BDell will be a part of the community. There's a lot of names that's going to be a part of the community that I don't want to announce just yet, but just a lot of people that that visit this channel, and a lot of the brothers in the technology field will be a part of this workshop as well. So this is going to be something huge, something gigantic, and I just definitely look forward to it. So make sure you'll get your ticket early before it's too late. AI Masters Gods of Intelligence online workshop. All right, family. With that being said, BDell, wow, like I said, you came in and spin so hard. What another thing, I didn't get a chance to talk to you in a couple of weeks. There was a bit, and speaking of the Anunnaki, since you mentioned the Anunnaki, one of the things you said at the Stone Mountain gathering that went viral. It went viral. So I woke up one morning and everybody just kept sending me these videos on Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, and some of the videos had millions of views. And they're like, yo, they're summoning spirits, and they're saying Atlantis. And I remember I was like, oh shit, that's the Drake my brother BDell. I remember he was like Atlantis. We was like Atlantis. Yo, what's your thoughts on like the smear campaign? Like everybody, all of these religious people, like really coming at us and talking about we're a cult and this and that. What's your thoughts on that, man? Because you was up there and you know exactly what was going on. What you think about the millions of people and how just this Stone Mountain trip went viral all of a sudden?
Well, shout out to Blue Pill. He's the one that told me. He said it went viral 59 days, afterwards. You know what I'm saying? That we did the excavation up the Stone Mountain.
Right.
And 5 and the 9 together is 14. I was born on the 14th. So there's some type of alignment there when it comes to that. So even when you look at it, from a Eurocentric standpoint, everything that's connected to Western civilization is one of those things where you have to be very meticulous right now, because black anti-intellectualism is on the rise right now. It's one of those things where they want to marginalize us to where we're just talking about rap, sex, and sports. They don't want you talking about metaphysics. They don't want you trying to, rewrite the script that they actually stole from us to where we're talking about Atlantis is Atlantis. So it's one of those things where they're using, dark psychology to keep us in a state of conformity.
Yeah. When I seen it, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like they took like a 10-second clip and they made that shit look crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was like a 10-second
so
clip,
that's why
man.
I said, we got to be very critical right now, because it's kind of like the same thing where you have an influx of people right now. They're having artificial intelligence psychosis. So the more everything in the simulation gets manipulated by way of interface transitions, the more you're going to see people attack certain individuals, because it's basically reversing the polarity of the illusion. As I was telling you, right now you have Pisces and Saturn in conjunction right now. That is a representation of a fractured reality that's breaking away from a certain illusion that was propagated by the Alpha Draconis star system that was in alignment with the lunar cycle that was under the clay age, which is the age of mankind. So the age of mankind is basically phasing out, because this is why we always say the 6,000 is up, because you're going through a different space and time, a different shift. A spiritual transformation is where you go from the Alpha Draconis to the star Polaris, which is the galactic center. So that's why, even, when you're talking about the technocratic systems of, of the totalitarian regime of Donald Trump's administration, what we got to understand is that he's the 9/11 president, because 2027, if it's based on perception, and it's really just based on how you view certain things, because 2027 is a 9/11 year. And he's been teasing that he's going to be the president for the year of 2028. So he's basically setting the stage up right now for technocratic sorcery. So it's not a coincidence that Bill Gates, Donald Trump, and Zuckerberg, they had a dinner together probably like a few days ago, and that was basically the Council of Kings right before the reset. All this is basically moon rituals, because I keep telling you that Donald Trump is a Luciferian white hat. He's playing both sides. So that's why, he shows veneration and credence towards Bill Gates, right? Even though he's talking about swamp, but he's in bed with them people at the same time. Because there's a movie that just came out that I went to go see.
He's a Gemini. He's a Gemini too, right?
Yeah, he's a Gemini as well.
Okay.
So even when you look at the times he was bought in office, he was the 45th president. That's a 9. He's a 47th president. That's an 11. He's a 9/11 president in a 9/11 year. And according to the prophecies of popes, they said that in the Vatican Manifesto, they said that 2027 is the end of the world. And really, it's the end of the Vatican Church. It's the fall of the church, which is the fall of Babylon. So when you watch the movie Conjuring that just came out this weekend, it's basically the plot of the movie. It's about a mirror, and the mirror was cracked. And the crack is a representation of the fractured reality that was built on illusions. And on top of the mirror, they had 3 heads. The 3 heads is basically the embodiment of the unholy trinity of the kings, which is Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Pope Leo XIV. So right. That's why I said they're setting the stage by way of symbolism. So that's how I'm able to telegraph what's going to happen, because the algorithm that's connected to our reality is connected to the algorithm that's in the movies. The movies tell a story every time. Just like I was telling people about the cordyceps, the activation of zombification in the movie Weapons. And in the movie Weapons, it was basically talking about cyclomancy and cyclotronic magic, and how to manipulate people's neurological functions by way of the 2 frontal cortexes of the brain, your motor cortex skills, to the point where you're able to be so low vibrational to the point where you can be manipulated with frequency modulation. That's what the movie was all about, because the hair was a representation of the fact that she was able to alchemize her reality by pulling on their energy, because your hair is connected to your etheric cord, which is also connected to the mycelium network of nature. So that's how she was able to galvanize the children by way of cyclomancy, which is cyclotronic magic, which is a form of animal magnetism. Right. And that animal magnetism is basically connected to, when you're talking about the cursed seed of the Bible, who was the Canaanite. Because like I said, they have to feed on the vitality of children, because the Canaanite, they don't have any type of genetic self-preservation on this planet. So this is why they have to merge human with cybernetics. So this is all connected to the 3 kings, as I was telling you. This is just, based on my own logical assertions. I think that every movie on the planet is a code. People just got to read it. Mm-hmm. Every movie is a code. And I don't know what it is, but, that's how I'm able to, see certain things. Every movie basically tells a story that lines up to the grand finale.
Mm-hmm. I hear you talk a lot about ushering in the return of the matriarch and ushering in the divine feminine. I hear you talk a lot about that, and you just mentioned here. I want to ask you, when you think of moon, you think of the feminine energy, and we're going to get to the original moon in a little while, because I heard you talk about that also. But if the divine feminine energy is hitting the planet, and the matriarch is being returned to the land, how important, when we talk about here's an antenna, here it carries memory, here's just very, very important, very powerful. How important is it? One of the biggest problems, and some people don't consider the problem, depending on what woman you ask. How important do you think it is for our women to start wearing their hair again? Because right now on the internet, there's videos of them, they're scalping these Indian women, right? They got a razor, taking their hair off, packaging it, doing all types of shit to the hair. They got it on the floor. They got it in all types of dirty shit. Then they selling it to our woman. Our woman is putting on the hair, and now that's a part of their auric field. So the people, any woman was like, yo, that's bad luck. A lot of them are saying, yo, it's bad luck to take somebody's hair and wear it on your head. You don't know what misery that person has been through. So how important do you think it is? Because if you ask some sisters, they be like, mind your damn business. You be like, I got an opinion. Fuck you want me to do? I got an opinion. I'm a have an opinion. But what do you think about the divine feminine and our woman starting wearing their hair again? What will that do on this planet?
You will have the ability to manipulate, the energies of the moon that's pulling on the woman's, vitality and stuff. Because when you look at the hair is basically a form of, mind control. There's a reason why they push, blonde hair towards, melanated people so much, because it's a form of, conformity. It's basically a sign of deviancy. It's also
Right.
a sign of subjugation. And that's all a part of, Canaanite culture, because the great majority of the concubines that had to abide by the system of Canaanite culture, those were basically the ones that was like, sex slaves and things of that nature. But the hair in itself is what basically subjugates the non-ether, because now you're taking upon the psychology and the spiritual transformations of those who's connected to, the energies of the moon. So you're basically, manipulating your energetic morphic field anytime you put somebody's, different demographics, people's hair on your head, basically. Because it's kind of like your hair is one of those things that's connected to, all things of nature. It creates, geometric energy fields, and those geometric energy fields in itself is what creates your energetic morphic field bubble, to where you don't have outside forces to infiltrate, your cipher.
Right.
So hair is actually, when you wear your natural hair, it's actually a protectorate, and it's also a form of healing as well, because the hair is connected to the space-time continuum.
Powerful, powerful. Okay, so what's the deal? All right, BDell. We talking about the blood moon that just occurred, but that is, according to you and Rod Hayes, that is not the original moon. So what is the original moon, and where is it at right now? Because I heard you mention Jupiter, so this is about to get real interesting when you answer this question. What's going on?
Well, when you get into the inception of time, you had the original moon called Shesky. It was tether connected to planet Earth. But due to the extraction of plutonium bombs, the planet Earth broke in half. And that's when you're talking about Nibiru, which has its own autonomous ecosystem. They had a ball of energy, and they projected it inside the Grand Canyon, which is basically the apex of civilization, where it started, because that's where the first pyramids was at. So the black sun was projected inside the planet to mend the Earth back together. Now, the moon that we have in our solar system right now is actually the moon of what we call the hypnotic spell of Kingu. And the sleep spell of Kingu is pulling on the energy of women, to where it subjugates the matriarch, because the moon is tether connected to Saturn, which is basically the external hard drive of planet Earth, to where Father Time subjugates Mother Nature. So you got another moon that's anchoring energy from the Sesh Quadrant. The Sesh Quadrant is what creates quarks and leptons of that is connected to the Higgs boson particle. So the moon that's the moon Europa that's coming from Jupiter is giving a positive electrical frequency to the divine feminine energy to reverse the polarity of the sleep spell of Kingu.
Right.
It's like a cosmological war that is based on frequency.
Very interesting. All right, so let me put this on the screen. I want to put something else on the screen. Give me a second, family. Bear with me, because you said something, use the word black sun. And I noticed, you remember last year when I called you? I think it was last year. I was like, yo, be there. What you know about the black sun? Because I was gonna start a documentary, and it got pushed back. And I felt as though I didn't have enough people that had adequate amount of information on the black sun. So I postponed it, but we'll get into that a little later. But when you say the black sun, one of the symbols that this is the symbol that always comes up on the internet when you mention a black sun. So what I noticed is there's a rise, and even if you see behind me, there's a rise. If you see on the internet, you see swastikas much more often now than we have in the last couple of years. Is that symbol energetically, does it represent something now? And we know it has nothing to do with Hitler and all them. They just took our shit or whatever. But energetically, is there a reason why this symbol is popping up now? Does it represent something that we should be aware of?
Well, it's kind of like, the perception of art imitates reality. So right now, everything under the sun cycle has to operate under the threefold law. So they have to give you the truth. So they're basically telling you the black sun is you. That's why Kanye West was wearing the symbol so much.
Right.
But a lot of people don't know that the black sun is actually the sigil of Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is a representation of the serpent bird. And the serpent bird is Jesus walking on water, which is basically the Kundalini serpentine fire that is activated during the time of the 9 year that's in alignment with the 3-eye atlas, which is the third eye activation of what we're talking about, the resurrection of the so-called Anunnaki when you're talking about DNA activation.
Man, y'all heard what it be there? Where you get this shit from, man? Yo,
it's all connected.
This dude here. Oh shit! How you tied that together, brother?
Yeah, wow. I mean, if you just look at everything, it's really based on the algorithm. All of it is based on the algorithm of the movies. I keep telling people, if you just watch the movies, you'll be able to see the story every time.
Are these, and I asked you this because I heard Bobby talk about this before. Are these movie directors, do they consciously know what they're doing when they're coming up with these scripts, or do you think higher forms of intelligence is manipulating them because they know this is what the masses of the planet is going to view, so they're manipulating them and they're feeding them these ideas, they're channeling these ideas through them on purpose?
No, I wouldn't say that. It depends. Well, I always say that, the CIA has an office in Hollywood and Hollywood has an office in the CIA. So a lot of these stories, and everything is being, facilitated by those who was connected to those alphabetical organizations or whatever. And Stephen King, for instance, he was actually, he's an occultist. And I remember he came out with a movie called Sleepwalkers, and he was talking about, shapeshift and Lyrans. So a lot of the stuff that you see in a lot of his movies that took place in the 80s, these are real things that actually took place during the times of, ancient Atlantis, ancient Tartaria, ancient Kemet. But all they did was they used bread and circus and they put it in the form of entertainment and fiction. And now they telling your ass it ain't even real when you speak about it now. So now this is why you get so much pushback when you're talking about Atlantis is Atlantis. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like one of those things. So they put the truth, but it's one of those things where they use dark psychology. They try to make it seem like you crazy when they really been telling your truth, you know what I'm saying, the whole time. That's how they do that. It's
right.
Psychology.
Right. I want to get back to the because with the 3-eye atlas and everything, there's so much talk about the return of aliens. And they're like, the aliens is coming. And we know we have something in our mind, our brain, called the reticular activating system, where we filter out information depending on what we tell our brain what we're looking for. Do you think that the aliens are already here, but we just don't see them? Like, maybe they're standing in front of you right now, standing in front of me right now, but maybe because of our psychology and our reticular activating system, we can't even see them. So do you think maybe they're already here and they're not coming, but they're already here, but our minds is just so into something else that we don't know it?
Yeah, they're already here because, the reason why they're here to observe. Right. And the reason they're here to observe, meaning that they don't have the ability as far as like infiltration. They can't infiltrate our own free will. So it's one of those things where we got to go through the hero's journey in order to, get, to the apex of where we're able to, communicate with these interdimensional and outer dimensional extraterrestrial entities. We too much low in frequency. Just imagine if the Anunnaki came back right now, people trying to go to the club with them and all this other stuff, drink with them, smoke with them. That's why I said we're too low vibrational right now. We can't be on that type of time right now. So
no, I'm gonna chill with Space Space Thug. You see Space Thug on the internet?
Yeah.
Let me show y'all. Yeah, let me put a little human. Do y'all know who Space Thug is? I'm chilling. I'm gonna pull up. I might have him. Damn, I don't see him now. I can't put him up. I'm gonna find Space Thug. He's all over TikTok. He's all over. Yeah, I can't find him. Anyway, let's keep this thing on because this thing is good. But I wanted to show y'all Space Thug. By the way, how y'all doing in the chat? We got we got a packed chat. We got about 2,700 people in the chat. Shout out to all of y'all in the chat right now. BDell, you mentioned. Let me ask you this, BDell, because growing up in consciousness, you grew up in consciousness. Your father taught you and everything. When you hear things like blood moon, you think about people doing rituals. Have you ever done or would you advise anybody to do rituals with their own blood? Like, I've heard that coming up in consciousness. I've heard people talk about, I think even Aleister Crowley did some wild shit with blood and semen. Yeah. So, yeah. So what's your thoughts on doing rituals with your own blood?
You can use it for cord cutting. Anytime
Yeah.
you want to, cut ties with a certain individual or cut ties with a certain psychological construct that is holding you back mentally and physically, those are the things you need to write that on paper in blood, maybe, and you burn it up. Or you can just, alchemize those energies and use all the, the 4 basic elements. If you want to, touch on everything that's, holding you back. So it's one of those things where you can resurrect yourself by way of, certain celestial alignments like, the blood moon solar eclipse. So this, it's one of those things, like I said, it's a reset. It's not just a reset that's happening on an international geopolitical level. It's a reset that's happening that's connected to our neurological functions as well. So that's why I said this blood moon is a whisper to the Akashic records. So this moon, even though it's a negative force, but you can still alchemize these energies that's connected to the sleep spell of King Gu. That's why I said you got to use the matrix in order to get out. You got to use the moon in order to get out. But you got to know what time it is and what to do during these time periods.
You was talking about manifestation earlier, and usually people do moon rituals for the purpose of manifestation. I sometimes think that with a lot of people, a lot of people have been leaving religion, and the church isn't the same. The religions ain't the same as strong as they used to be 20 years ago. I find that some of the people I know from experience, they were better at manifesting, BDell, under religion than they are at manifesting under consciousness, even with this plethora of information that they got. So could you talk to me about, and I think part of it might be because, it's more, being a God is a lot more responsibility. It's a lot more to, it's you got to evoke a lot more power, I guess. And when you're in religion, you just throw everything on Jesus or God. So they don't have as much worry, I guess. I'm not sure. But what's your thoughts on why somebody may be better at manifesting under the 3 religions than they are under consciousness?
Because it creates spiritual hygiene. And a lot of times when you have spiritual hygiene, that means that you have discipline. And discipline in itself is in alignment with righteousness, and righteousness is what creates balance. So balance in itself is equilibrium. That's what God is. God is the personification of balance. So anytime that you have balance in your life, hypothetically speaking, when you have a spiritual win, a physical win, a mental win, and a financial win, that denotes the fact that you're in a state of evolution to the point where you're able to alchemize those energies in itself and manifest. So that's why a lot of times, you got certain people who are just spiritual and they're not connected to anything as far as monotheism or whatever. That's because, a lot of people, they think that, spirituality is all about, not having boundaries. Now, we don't follow rules of spirituality, but you have to have boundaries because everything in the universe operates on a logistical principle. That means that everything has order, and anything that has order has structure. And when you have structure, you're able to materialize whatever you're trying to manifest by way of your mind.
Yeah, somebody in the chat, where's this at? Said blind faith. They don't question it. Like we really got to get to that point in our science, whatever we believe. Like, say it's the I am principle, where when somebody says they're gonna do something, the first thing they think about is how. We question it, but the people of religion, they don't question it. It's just blind faith. So I think we got to get to the point where we don't question our ability to manifest, and I think that'll really get us to where we got to be, man. For real.
The blind faith is actually the 0-point energy fields.
Woo! Yeah.
That's how you basically you use your emotions as a navigation system. But that's why I say you have to have a healthy form of delusion in order to manifest. You got to believe in yourself so much that you fucking cry, because the crying in itself is a release of energy. Because you put on those energies because you start. You know what I'm saying? Because I sometimes when I daydream about certain stuff, like I told you, I grew up watching your channel, and I used to be like, man, I want to be like I felt it in my emotion. And look, bro, we right here in front of each other. Because I really believe in my soul, like this is what I'm supposed to be with these guys. This is what I'm supposed to be studying. This is, what I'm supposed to be alchemizing. This is a part of my purpose. And I used to feel that deep down, and I'd be like, damn, like it's almost that emotion in itself is where it's almost like you got to cry, and then that energy is a tachyon, and that tachyon pulls in, it creates like magnetic filaments, and it attaches itself to the heart, and then that's when you're able to alchemize whatever.
No, that's fire.
Mm-hmm.
That is true indeed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that has happened to me so many times in meditation where my visualization is so vivid, I do start crying. Like, and that it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, man. When you able to visualize something so intensely that tears roll down your eyes and you like this and shit. So yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about. And I just want to say this real quick before we move on. I always tell you this, and I just want to remind you and the people in the audience. I first seen your video, Yaki Awakens, first debut on my channel.
Yeah.
His debut on my channel. I didn't know who the hell you were. And he didn't know, he knew of you, but he didn't know you like that. But he was like, man, this young brother's dropping it. Mm-hmm. I think he was talking about the prokaryotic cell or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he played your video. And I was like, yo, that's fire. And I didn't think none of it. And then I was like, I want to get the brother on my channel, but I don't know how to reach out to him. And then I had seen a video you did on Instagram a little after that, and you was like, you had said something, and you talk with so much confidence, and you was like, yeah, I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna get on the channel. They gonna know who I am. Something you was saying because you knew we had played your video, but I guess we didn't reach out to you right away, but you knew we was going to connect somehow, some way. And the way you was saying it, I was like, damn, I could tell confidence. I'm a confident dude. I could tell it when I see it. I said, damn, this young brother's super confident. And then somehow, some way, and then I just left it alone. I didn't look for you after that. I left it alone, but then a little bit after that, somehow, some way, I don't know how we connected. I forget how we connected.
Connected to Red. Okay. Salute to the OG Red, because he's actually, you and Yaki and Red was actually some of the first people that reached out to me.
Dope.
And Rod Hayes was probably the first one I ever did a video with too, as well.
Fire. Yeah, but I remember that video, man. Like, so I know when you got an intention, I know how strong your intentions can be. Let's talk about. You talk a lot about the Saturn Moon matrix. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let us know what exactly is the Saturn Moon matrix. And I want to ask you this first, though. When it comes to Saturn, because you and a lot of others talk about Saturn controlling time, you also talk about chosen ones. One of the things about the chosen ones is that time doesn't control them; they control time. So they're able to what the average man could do in 24 hours. A chosen man, what would take an average person to do in a week, a chosen one does that in a day. And you'd be like, I'll give you an example. Billy Carson, the shit he does in a day is unbelievable. If you knew exactly how much he fit into one day. But being that we got a different relationship with time as a chosen one, how does that affect our relationship with Saturn if Saturn the time isn't controlling us like it is the average person?
Well, see, this is why I talk about, the magnum opus of creation. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Apophis, where human becomes God in the golden age. Mm-hmm. So that's why I keep telling people you gotta heal from your trauma, tap into your authenticity. That's going to lead you to your purpose, because your authenticity is your creative energy, which makes you a creator, which is a God. Uh-huh. So when you become a God, that's when you take your power back, because that means that you have autonomy and autonomous control of over your reality, to where you're able to manipulate time and collapse time. Because you're not moving on the vibration of Saturn to where you're no longer stuck in a fixed position reality. Because what I'm saying is that, the more people find their authenticity, you ain't going to need no damn job. You don't have to work a 9 to 5. You're not subjugated by Father Time, who is Satan. That means that you have the ability, to step in and take your power back, which is also connected to Psalms 82 verse 6. Ye are gods. Mm-hmm. So that means that you have the ability to create during the time of the sun cycle. So this is why I keep telling people, this is the time to create. The more that you see, artificial intelligence rising, that's the more you should start tapping into your authenticity and start creating even more.
Yo, you could create so much. Check this out, family. Because BDell, we gonna get it popping in this community chat that we're starting for these. Check this out. So this is just so the people know, This is the workshop that we're doing, and we have a Discord community chat to go along with the workshop. The community chat is going to last for about 2 months. So we got experts in the artificial technology field. We have about 5 experts that is going to be in the chat, guiding us, helping us do all types of stuff. So we're going to be the ultimate creators in this chat. But check this out real quick. And I'm glad BDell. Let me share the link real quick. A couple things I want to do real quick. So make sure y'all sign up. This is going to be so fun and awesome, y'all. Hold up. I wish I had all of this pulled up already. All right, so let me share that. And let me pull this up. So yeah, I was on the AI joint. I forget what it was. I don't know if it was Google or whatever, because I was telling the family the other day how I'm using AI to do all types of businesses now that was much harder before. So I'm working on my merch line. I came up, I came up with like 15 designs in like 45 minutes, bro. I mean, bro, I'm telling y'all, fam, this is gonna be so much fun in this group chat. So this is one.
That's hard. I like that.
Yo, family, when I tell y'all, we gonna get this money.
That's fine.
We're gonna get this money. My merch line is gonna be one of the most insane merch lines in the spiritual community, family. And family, it's y'all just gotta do it. Y'all gotta listen. I don't know what to tell you.
Rainbow color stuff, man. That keeps apparitions off of you.
Yeah, man. But family, you got it. Let me share this link one more time. Family, I came up with like 20 designs, 15, 20 designs in like 45 minutes, family. Yo, there's so much stuff we could do with artificial intelligence that they're not telling us. Family, make sure I just shared the link. Make sure you sign up for the AI Master Workshop. It's an online workshop. Anywhere in the world you could join. It's going to be the whole weekend, November 1st and November 2nd. We're going to learn. This is not even for sale yet. It's about to be for sale. But listen, family, when I tell y'all the designs I have is absolutely insane. And it's all about the prompting. So yeah, make sure you sign up. Make sure you sign up, family. This is going to be amazing. And I want to thank BDell for joining us in the chat. Somebody said, F the money, your workout and man. Yeah, but you work, brother. You got a job. If you don't have a job, you got a business. So you can't say F the money because you paying bills. I know you got a girl. You ain't a bum. I don't think you a bum, brother.
Right.
You got children. So we got to be realistic, fam. That's what they told me that dumb shit 25 years ago in the conscious community. Mm-hmm. And I was walking around like a goddamn homeless man for 6 months. Don't fall for that shit. The world is gonna keep going. We got children to feed. We got we got to keep come on, fam. We got to be realistic about this out here. Right. So family, don't fall for the bullshit, man. Don't fall for the bullshit. Nah, family, get your bread and do what's right with it. Take care of your family. Let's start next year. There's gonna be a big movement that I'm be involved in with us growing our own food. I'm gonna talk to BDell about that as well. BDell, I got hooked up with one of the best black farmers in the country. I'm telling you all types of shit today. So I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? But give me some questions for BDell. We're gonna keep this thing going, but I want to hear what some of y'all got to say about this blood moon and things y'all noticed, the alien talk. What did while we wait for the questions from the people, BDell, what exactly did Trump mean? Because you said he's like a white hat Luciferian. When he said we're ushering in the golden age, he don't have the same intentions we have. But what exactly did he mean when he said I'm ushering a golden age?
His golden age is based on the perception because he was going through the coronation of kingship. In the coronation of kingship, to where he has, full autonomy over international governments that's based on technocratic sorcery, to where, it's based on the biometrics of, artificial intelligence controlling everything. So they want to control everything by way of a quantum crypto control system. And that's that's what the alignment of the three kings is, or the three-headed beast in Revelation. That is, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Pope Leo the 14th. So their golden age is based on technocratic sorcery, to where it's one of those things where you got to understand, like, the basic principles of the Hegelian dialectic principle. What took place on the last 9/11, in 2001, right after that, that's when George Bush, he signed the Patriot Act. Then Obama, he extended the Patriot Act. And the extension in itself is what basically laid up the alley-oop to Donald Trump, to where you have a totalitarian police state. So this is why he's able to use, the militarized groups that's connected to the military or whatever. He's able to use it and be like, hey, let's flood Chicago, let's flood DC. That's why I keep saying he wants to drain the swamp, but he's in bed with those people because they're laying out the blueprint. Because everything that took place in 9/11 is setting the stage up for right now. That's all it was. Even though it was a gold heist, but it's setting the stage up for what's taking place right now. And they already knew this.
Yo, what do you think about Rod Hayes saying that he thinks there's going to be a 9/11 type of event happen around in Virgo season? Because we just entered Virgo season. What's your thoughts on that?
I can see that, because the way I see things, it operates on cylindrical patterns, and everything that's that operates on a pattern in itself is data. So you can tell by way of the numerical sequences of certain dates and celestial alignments, you will know that certain things is going to alchemize as far as what they do is with they dark incantations that's connected to the energy of the moon. So that's why a lot of times, like Rod, he's able to telegraph what's going to happen, because he knows that the great majority of these numbers are basically portals. Because the last time he was 9-year was in 2016, and I just told you we just had a 6.8 magnitude earthquake on the Ring of Fire tonight, right before we had the live. And then you had the 8.7 magnitude earthquake in 2016 during that time of the 9-year. So anytime you go through a 9-year, that is basically a form of spiritual metamorphosis. And a spiritual metamorphosis is based on spiritual warfare, and it's based on the energy of Mars, right? Also associated with Mars. So it's one of those things where celestial alignments and numbers and what takes place on a international geopolitical level, it all correlates.
Okay. Let's get these questions rolling in, family. Let's get these questions and learn from each other. Okay. We were talking about manifestation, so I'm gonna start with this one. What should one do if you believe in your purpose, but the finances have yet to manifest themselves?
Shit, stay down till you come up. You got to have a silent grind to have a loud success. So it's one of those things where, like I said, you need 4 different wins every day that connect you to the 4 basic elements of the soul, which is thinking, reasoning, understanding, and willpower. So you need a financial win, a mental win, a spiritual win, and a physical win. Working out, reading, because like I said, if you work out more than you read, your ass is still out of shape. And I talk about some of this stuff in my book, because I know that, as we get through the process of the Great Awakening period and it lines up to the agenda for 2030, it's one of those things where you have to keep your vibration so high, because it's going to be a lot of affliction that's going to be taking place on the planet during these time periods. So you got to keep your frequency high. You can't have all this, motherfuckers pulling on your energy so much to the point where you're not able to, make the basket like Michael Jordan. He had the Monstars pulling on this energy. Your mom, your dad going to be pulling on your energy, because, everything that's connected to this reality is going to be fractured, and that's going to fracture their belief systems. So the more that you see, the rise of, human consciousness on the planet is going to have the ability to manipulate physical matter. And the more we raise up in consciousness, is going to be more floods. It's going to be more earthquakes, more volcanic eruptions. So like I said, this is a spiritual transition that's taking place on the planet right now.
All right. Let's keep this thing going. This is that talk I need to hear, y'all. This is that kind of talk I'm gonna be pumped up. You know how you leave the gym and you pumped up. You start walking different. You know how you start walking different when you leave the gym. Yeah. I start walking different after a lecture from BDell. I walk like them Negroes in the gym after BDell talk, y'all. Man, I'm walking like I'm 10 feet tall.
Yeah, that's how I be. Hey.
Yeah.
It's that's what the book is. My book is really about, man. It's really one of those things where you want to keep people tapped into their inner child. by way of, the psychological inducement, of Eurocentric information and the curriculum that's connected to the education system, we don't have an imagination no more. They took it away from us. Yeah. So that's why I said this book is going to help you tap right back into the inner child, because the inner child is how you alchemize your reality. You got to think of it first in order to alchemize your reality. That's how, that's how manifestation works. That's the keys of the universe, which is the 3, 6, and the 9. The 3 is a representation of the mind, which is manifestation, and the 3 is a representation of harmony, which is the body, and the 6 is a representation of harmony, which is the body, and the 9 is a representation of completion, which is the soul. So that's why I said this is the time you're supposed to be tapping into the inner child to the point where you have the ability to alchemize. So that's what the divine spark about this book is all about, is to help get people connected back to their inner child.
Beautiful, my brother. Somebody said, how do we sign up? I'm posting the link in the chat. I should have pinned it. I'm about to pin it now. Yeah, I just posted the link in the chat to sign up for the AI workshop. Damn it, the link might not be working, y'all. I gotta hold up. Let me see something. Let me do this here. Let me post it again for y'all. Yeah, I'm posting the link in the chat. Wait till y'all see the people, these black tech experts that we got coming through in the chat, man. Wait till y'all see that, man. It's gonna be fire. It works. Okay, King said it works. Okay, thank you. Shout out to King Simon in the chat also.
Yeah, salute to the elder.
Indeed. Somebody, they want to know, BDell, they want to know, is this 999 portal as strong tomorrow as it will be on November 9th, 2025? Also 999. Does it matter that we are operating on Gregorian time? Thanks for the question, Oshun Aura.
I wouldn't say so, because the numbers in itself is basically, portals. So so November is very significant because that's when the veil is the thinnest, because the number 11 is a representation of the tuning forks. So that also, manipulates the space-time continuum. So during the time period, you're going to see a lot of, things getting unveiled during the time of November. So, you have to be very meticulous of a lot of, covert operations and more psychological inducement that's coming from the deep state.
Right. Once again, tell the people again when your book.
October 14th of 2025.
Okay, October.
So right now, I told you it's going through the process of the Library of Congress. So that's like the the network of human information. So I want to get in inside of that, because I want people, maybe use it for a curriculum or something and turn it into a study. So be on the it's going to be on Amazon.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm gonna have him on the show, family, when he released that book. We're gonna have a book release party online, man. We're gonna be I'm gonna have some wine and shit. We're gonna be chilling. We're gonna have a good time, man. I'm proud of this brother. He put in a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that battery in my back, man, because he's the one that's like, man, it's time to get it going now. So
yeah.
So that's what we're doing with it.
Somebody said, question about the blood moon affects some people energy levels, cause headaches, or anything?
Yeah, because you have an influx of parasites that's technically connected to the moon. Because one thing, when you get into the Gnostic text, it talks about the archonic forces, but the archonic forces is basically talking about the infiltration of our physiology, which is basically the true alien invasion. Because the reason why you have headaches and your energy is being drained is because these microscopic nanocytes and parasites in the body is feeding on the proteins, it's feeding on the fascia system, which is basically stealing away from your electrical energy to where you don't have the electrical conduction in order to tap in and things of that nature. So it's one of those things where the parasites is also have the ability to mimic the neurotransmitters. They have the ability to mimic certain biological functions in the body. So during the times of a solar eclipse, not a solar eclipse, but a lunar eclipse or a blood moon or whatever, that's when you should, detox even more.
All right. Yeah, somebody said I had a horrible headache all day yesterday. I felt like I was about to pass out. Monica, hope you feel better, Monica. Hope you feel better. Let's keep this thing going. How can we tell which planets have real moons or artificial moons?
Well, the best way to know is that is it subjugating a black woman or is it pulling on her energy? That's the best way to know. Because like I told you, the moon is the external hard drive of the planet Earth. It's basically, a quantum satellite.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to explain it, this is why I call it the Saturn moon matrix, because the processing system in itself is basically Saturn. Just think of Saturn as being, the PS5, and the moon is basically the TV. The moon is what creates the holographic projection by way of the subatomic particles that creates the illusion of physical matter. So that's basically how it works. It operates on liquid crystal polarization. It's a technology that they use to bend, photons. So the real moon in itself, like I said, is able to harmonize with the divine feminine energy. It doesn't subjugate the divine feminine energy.
Yo, with all this talk on Saturn, BDell, who is these Norman Goodman, the white dude who was like he seen jet black? He was like he seen black, tall black entities on Saturn or something like that. It was funny because then the white reporter was like, what she said, you seen brown or something? He said, no, black. He was like, no, black.
Hey,
she
hey,
she tried to get him make the entity, the alien, mixed or some shit like that. He was like, nah, they jet black. But what did he see exactly, according to your research? What did he see?
well, now he wrote this book called The Ringmakers of Saturn.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to this, what I'm saying, you have to be very critical because anything that deals with Saturn is basically the embodiment that created the illusion, which is also in alignment with the Gnostic text when you're talking about archons, on how they basically supplicate human emotion and they transmute it into a weakness, and they basically alchemize our emotions to the point where they're able to control human emotion. So it's one of those things where it's like when you're talking about the Saturnians, the black beings, he could possibly talking about the cherubim of the Bible. He could possibly be talking about the archons. He could possibly be talking about draconian reptilian or shapeshifter black entities as well. So, like I said, you can't really put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to that because the great majority of the information has been compromised. And I believe that he came from that organization called NASA. And when you break down the etymology of the word NASA in ancient Hebrew, it means to deceive. So like I said, you gotta take some of that information with a grain of salt. And I read the book that he created called The Ringmakers of Saturn, and he basically demonstrates how they created the rings and how the rings is basically an extraction of subatomic particles that's tether connected to the binary code system of the matrix, and they use the supercomputer on the dark side of the moon, and they give you that projection of what we call reality.
Okay. This sister right here, shout out to Ashe Nine Affirmations. She wants to know, have y'all started watching Alien Earth on Hulu, and will he decode it? I haven't started watching it.
I seen the first episode or whatever, but that basically was in alignment to the algorithm where I said they're gonna start coming after the children because that season that came out during the same time as the movie Weapons. In the movie Weapons, that woman, she was basically a Canaanite woman trying to feed on the vitality of children because her genetic format doesn't live after the 6,000 year curse.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's keep this thing going. Keep this flow going. Can BDell talk about the red moon and the blue sun and how this is connected to prophecies?
I guess you could say, Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles tell you the story as well because it represents, the Trinity principle of the red sun, blue sun, and the yellow sun. And that's what creates like the tachyons. And those tachyons in itself creates, portals that take you to a different space and time, not just on a celestial level, but on, by way of the mind. So that's why I said, it's the activation of the Bathari gland that is connected to the astrocytes, the pituitary, no, not, the astrocytes, the postsynaptic, presynaptic, and the trisynaptic.
Mm-hmm.
So all those alignments in itself is, it's all correlated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they tell you the same story every time in every cartoon and every TV show. It's the Inky and Enlil story, and it's also telling you about the hero's journey in the resurrection period. They put it all in every show.
Yeah, yeah, that was a hell of a. He said Sonic and Knuckles. I wasn't expecting that for an answer. That
And,
was.
and guess what? There's another one called Shadow, and he represents the the blood moon eclipse, like represents an eclipse or something like that. He has
Yes,
another entity called Shadow.
I seen that one with my son. That came out what last year, something like that. The one with Shadow. Yeah, I seen that one.
And
Shadow.
Mr. Robotic, he represents Elon Musk because he basically is like the epitome of merging human with machine.
Right, right, right.
And he
Wow.
tried to subjugate the energies of those the celestial alignments of Sonic Knuckles and Tails.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait because you talk so much about movies, BDell, and I've heard all these years yourself, Bobby, Brother Panic. I mean, so many KT the Arch Degree, decodes the movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dope that we get to make our own movies now with AI, bro.
That's
Like, like that dude, original Black God. You be seeing some of his stuff.
Yeah, and his stuff, man, it'd be next level. It'd be next level.
Yo, he got us flying on the Moors flying on dragons and shit. You know what I said?
That's hard.
Yo, listen, if y'all don't, he's gonna be one of the people. I wasn't gonna say that just now. He's gonna be one of the people. I'm gonna share the link again in the online workshop on the in the community chat that we got, the Discord. He's gonna be one of the experts helping the family there. This is why I'm telling you, don't listen. This is a chat that's running for over 2 months, y'all. This is going to be historic. We're going to have so many black tech geniuses come out of that. We're going to make lots of money. We're going to make lots of connections. We're going to make lots of happiness. We're going to make it all. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to be slaves to the algorithm. We're going to create our own. So, once again, shout out to Seven, Bomar, and Red Pill. Okay, I look forward to November 1st and November 2nd. All right, let's keep this thing going.
What's crazy though, the crazy thing about this process that's taking place right now, I keep telling people this is for those that's connected to the Piscean age of darkness. This is not the time for you to be doing all the old shit such as selling drugs. You're supposed to be creating right now. Everything you're supposed to be doing right now is the epitome of creation. That's why Saturn right now is in conjunction with Pisces. That's karmic retribution of the old world. The old world is phasing out. That's why Young Thug is under judgment right now based on his celestial alignments or whatever. So that's why I keep telling you, content right now is the new brick of cocaine. It's the new pound of weed. And then when you chop them up in the shorts, now you out on the block selling 50s and halves. It's the same thing. You just got to alchemize that energy and use it for something that's more industrious.
Yeah, yeah. That's why it got Cameron and all them going crazy out there, man.
Right.
Like they try. I'm like, damn, man, y'all need to chill with that. Chill coming at the OG day, man. Shit, leave it. Oh man, let me share that. Exactly what BDell said about the content. We're gonna be the leaders of this new content era, and we're gonna recreate this whole idea of the entertainment industry, of black media in general. I really look forward to it. It's gonna be beautiful. So make sure you sign up for that workshop. Let's keep this thing going. Peace Priestess says, what is it about the blood moon that makes low vibrational people glitch?
Well, the reason I said is that it's the parasites in the body. There's a reason why the great majority of hospitals and police and everything, they always on red alert during the time of celestial alignments like the super blood moon eclipse or whatever, because they know that's the unraveling process of when parasites is able to replicate themselves on an infinite level and take over the physiology of those who is basically operating from a low vibrational standpoint. Because what parasites do, they have the ability to reverse the polarity of the human circulatory system that keeps them subjugated under the moon, because the planet has been under red alert for the last 12 to 13,000 years because of the moon. So that's why I said, the moon is basically the epitome of 6 ether energy. But like I said, you have to resurrect yourself during the time of solar cycle 25 in the 9 year.
All right. Let's see. Let's get to can you go more in depth about Third Eye Atlas? Got some trolls in here.
Well, when it comes to, as I was saying, man, 3-Eye Atlas is really just, a mirror flip. It's really just talking about, this celestial object that's supposed to be coming from the super boss cluster, which is the 19th galaxy that's outside of the ice wall. This is really just talking about DNA upgrades. That's all it is. Because like I said, just based on, the great majority of people on the planet being subjugated by religion, they're not psychologically ready, to see 8-foot aliens or, black Anunnakis or whatever. People are not ready for that. So like I said, we have to upgrade ourselves in order to get to the apex of that, transmission in itself.
Okay. Let's keep this thing going. Shout out to my brother Dave.
Yeah, salute to Dave. I tell you, he was on live with me last night.
Okay. Dave, Dave, you still doing your podcast, Dave? I gotta check your I haven't checked up on it lately. You still doing the podcast, Dave? Let me know. Well, let me ask Dave a question. With the 8-8 portal, blood moon, and 999 gateway, what can help us better understand the dreams, visions, and synchronicities that feel like messages from beyond the veil?
You said what? Well, I made a post today. I said, be very critical of those who popped up in your dream after the blood moon eclipse from last night. And the reason I say that is that it's one of those things that's going to create a dualistic energy. It's either they're going to be a karmic, they're going to either be a karmic test or they're going to be an amplifier for your journey. So that's why I said during the times like these portals in the blood moons or whatever, be very critical who pops up in your dream. Either on the good side or the bad side.
Yo, you do you dream journal, BDell? Do you have a journal?
Where my journal at? I got my
BDell, like hell yeah. Yeah.
Notes and stuff all the time.
Damn. Okay,
yeah. Because right now, yesterday I was trying to create a source code that's based on the equation for pi, and I know that the great majority of sigils in itself has an octave vibration and sound that can basically pierce the veil that's connected to the data source coding system of this algorithm of our reality. So that's what I was basically trying to do yesterday. Because I understand that the great majority of everything in the simulation operates on color sequences, it operates on numbers, and it operates on numerical codes. So I created a sigil. It's called a Asastragan. It's a 23-sided sigil, and I think that's the sigil for manifestation. I didn't get that out of a book. I created it on ChatGPT.
See, man, we going in with this, yo. This is how you supposed to use artificial.
I gotta show it.
Family. See, this is how you supposed to use it.
Look,
this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun.
It's an Asastra. You can't really see because there's other geometrical shapes in the inside of it.
Yeah.
But that is an Asastragan. It has it's a heptagon, octagon, pentagon, and a triangle, and you use it, to manifest. So right after you get out of the 99 Trooper Code portal on September 9th, on September 10th, I think that's on a Wednesday, and that's associated with Hermes or Thoth. So you should wear green in order to manifest what you was basically trying to alchemize on September 7th.
Okay. Man, let's keep this thing going, y'all. This has been a absolute amazing show tonight. We're gonna do about we got to pack. We got no wonder why the trolls is in here. We got about 3,300 people in the chat. We got 3,300. Yeah, people upset at that shit. We popping tonight. All right. Yeah, and I'm glad y'all interested in this topic. On a serious tip, family. I think that we are in some important times, and I know things could be confusing or challenging at times. But yeah, we just gotta we signed up for this. I truly believe that's just my belief. We signed up for this, and I just believe that we all have the ability. We all got that force within us that Star Wars talked about. And no matter how out of it you are, family, no matter how down you are, that force could change your life in a day, in a New York minute. So just keep going. Like BDell said, when a person act about their manifestations not happening right away. What you told him, BDell? You said in a real cool, clever way. When they ask about,
you gotta have a silent. Well, you gotta stay down till you come up, basically.
Yeah, I knew it was some slick shit. Yeah, you gotta stay down till you come up.
Yeah, a solid grind for a loud success. You gotta stay down. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's one of those things where you gotta move like a serpent.
Woo.
You gotta move like a serpent, and you move different because you know the truth. So when you know the truth, that's when you're able to, have a peace in a form of tranquility to the point where you're not able to have, outside distractions. So that's why I say you got to move like a serpent during this time period.
Oh man, wow! I absolutely am enjoying the show. Let's keep this thing going. Um, let's see. Somebody said, "How can we use our magical powers to fight those evildoers that hate humanity?"
Mm. Healing, like I said, people talk about powers and things of that nature, but like I said, you have to use your life force. You have to, you know what I'm saying, you have to use your life force in order to tap into that energy in itself, because when you watch a lot of these superhero movies or whatever, they had to go through the trauma in order to alchemize for them to get up into the apex of their true power or their true spiritual gifts. So also, like I said, when you get into the holonomic brain theory, it talks about how the brain is connected to the simulation. It's a box. And that's why I was going in talking about the super chiasmatic nucleus. So you have to reset mentally in order to get the caps off the neurons to where you're able to pull information from the subconscious mind that's connected to the Akashic records. So like I said, you have to heal your DNA in order to get the activation from 3-eye atlas, to activate the third eye.
Indeed. Definitely. Let's keep this thing going. Yeah, shout out to Nakia. She says she signed up for the workshop. I just shared the link again in the chat for you, Nakia. So shout out to Nakia. I look forward to seeing you. For those who are signing up today, you'll get your link for the Discord within 24 hours. Give me about 24 hours, and I'm gonna send everybody the link to join our community chat. We're gonna have tech experts. BDell will be there, red pill, blue pill, you name them, they're gonna be there. It's gonna be the best online spiritual tech community that exists on planet Earth. So shout out to all of y'all who's signing up. I sent it to you in 24 hours. Let's keep this thing again. Also, make sure you show support to my brother BDell.
Salute to King Simon.
King Simon be sending he got 30 links here. So let me BRYDELLRICE. Yeah, let's show my brother BDell. Y'all know we always look out for the guests that come on the show. This BDell, this channel is an economy within itself.
Yeah.
This is an economy, and I'm gonna keep putting that out there in the ethers, that what I have going on here is an economy. And I really appreciate, just same way that people appreciate us, I appreciate them, and I appreciate them for showing love for the speakers that come on the channel. So I want everybody to make sure y'all show the brother BDell. He's been dropping it for over an hour. Make sure y'all send him some love, show him some love on the I just had the link. What did I do with it? Okay, here on the Cash App. Yeah, I just want to put this one up here.
I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, make sure you show the brother love on the Cash App. All right, family.
And we got this coming pretty soon, next month, October 14th.
Yeah, October 14th. I'm gonna have him on. Well, you want to come on the show the day of, or you want to come a little before, or what you think?
I'll come on the day of.
Yeah, that's gonna be big. We gonna party, y'all. Let me see what day that is. Hold on. Let's see.
That's on a Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah, that's a Tuesday. Yeah. What planet governs Tuesday? What day is that? That's
Is that Mars?
Might be. It might be, right?
Or is it Venus?
I don't know. King Simon, what planet governs Tuesday?
I know he know.
Yeah, he definitely knows. Yeah. Mars. The people are saying Mars.
Yeah.
Saying Mars. Yeah, King Simon said Mars. Yep. If King say it is Mars,
That's a completion energy.
All right. Oh man, it's a good one, y'all. Having a good time. Y'all, ain't it dope to watch a show called Blood Moon Babylon, and to have a good time, to laugh, to smile, to learn all in one sitting? That's some amazing shit.
Yep.
That's a hell of a life. That is a hell of a life to live, to do something like that. We should all be thankful. Somebody said, when is the last day to sign up? Probably a couple of days before the event, but I would advise you to sign up as soon as possible so you could participate in the community, the digital community that we got going on. That's just as good as the workshop. Like I said, there's going to be experts in there. BDell's going to be in there. It's going to be popping. So as soon as y'all can, sign up for the workshop so y'all could be a part of that digital community that we're forming, this tech group that we're forming. Jobs are, listen, a lot of people are losing jobs. AI is going to replace a lot of jobs.
That's why I keep telling, find your purpose right now, or they're gonna find it for you. Find your purpose right now and think for yourself before it's illegal to.
Indeed.
Yep.
Somebody said we need billboards with BDell's book. Hell yeah, right?
Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Now we gonna get his book to be number one. We gonna get his book is definitely gonna be number one on Amazon. We gonna make sure that happens. We sometimes we gotta send statements.
Yeah.
So we gonna send a statement for BDell's book. We gonna send the ethers, the universe, these aliens, space ghosts, and all of them. Space Thug. We gonna send them a message with BDell's like, yo, we here. Give us these upgrades. You know what I mean? Oh man, this is dope, yo. Having a good time. Let's get to 2 more questions, and then we're gonna get out of here. Let's see. I want to focus on the. Let me see. I see a lot of comments. A lot of people happy. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of comments, but since I don't see any questions right now, I want to ask you, BDell, what's the deal with, you talked about Musk and Trump. Another figure we constantly hear about on the news is Putin. What's the deal with Putin? And is it in any way, is Russia, they keep talking about Russia. It makes me think, what was our past connection to Russia? Because they said Putin like put all the pictures of Black Jesus out or something like that. I don't know how true that was, but is there anything energetic wise we should be aware of with Russia at this time?
Well, according to Revelation, Russia is the embodiment of Gog and Magog, and I think it's one of those things where me and Rod had talked about it, and we was talking about how, those 3 days that Donald Trump disappeared, that can basically be the symbolism for the 3 days of darkness, because right before that, he had a meeting with Vlad. So like I said, that could be like a ritual that's setting the stage for the 3 days of darkness that's going to be facilitated by Russia or China, because they're basically strategic allies, basically. So it's one of those things to look out for that when it comes to the symbolism. He's frozen. Brother Rick. But well, for those I don't know if he's frozen or whatever, but like I said, it's one of those things when you're talking about Vladimir Putin, he's in connection with, as far as like the international geopolitical apparatus. And it's one of those things where when it comes to that, like I said, the epitome of the whole structure is based on a one world order. And the only way to facilitate that is when you hit the reset button. Because I keep telling people all the time, there's no evolution for the third dimension. So that means that the great majority of everything that was connected to maritime law has to dematerialize by way of common law. And common law is the foundational blueprint of the matriarch. And the matriarch is a republic, which is for the people. So that means that, Donald Trump, like I said, he's not hitting the reset button because he wants to. He's doing it because he has to. He's doing it because he has to. It's one of those things where, when you get into the 1848 Supreme Court decision on June 6th, it talks about the 5 civilized tribes that has the title holders of the geographical landmass of America for 1 million square miles, which is about 640 million acres of land. So by way of the doctrine of discovery, they stole all the land, about 2 billion acres of land, with the doctrine of discovery and all that other stuff. So that's why I said right now, you're looking at a shifting process to where the meek shall inherit the earth. by way of the transition that's connected to, civics. So common law is the matriarch, but everything that was connected to the deep state, the deep state government, the black budget government, that's all the epitome of a patriarchy that, subjugated the matriarch. So now everything is going through an overturn.
Indeed, indeed. All right, all right. Um, hmm, 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 hmm. Somebody, where did somebody? Somebody asked. Let's see. Oh, I can't find it now. Let me ask this. BDell. Somebody says, "How do you fix a mental block?"
Mm. Do something as simple as just, making your bed up every day. Because like I said, it's going to create a reconfiguration in your neurological functions, because when you change your mind, you change your vibration. That vibration becomes magnetism. So when you change your mind, you're basically going through a shifting process to where it basically eradicates the emotional energy to the point where you're able to, tap into the logistical side. So it's one of those things where, mental blockages happen by way of the trauma. We have caps on our neurons, and that's all, happening by way of, epigenetics and things of that nature. So anytime that you shift your mindset, you're also resurrecting your bloodline by breaking those generational curses. So as far as like you changing up your dietary system, making up your damn bed, taking care of your kids, doing everything that basically subjugated your bloodline, and you're basically shifting that process, that's how you get rid of those mental blockages. Not just for yourself, for your bloodline as well.
Oh shit! I had my mic on mute. I'm bugging out. I'm sorry, y'all. Somebody, I appreciate the super chat donation. Quincy says, I sent a message through about what I saw 4 months ago. There were black people that had glowing eyes that illuminated the closer they got into the sunlight. I saw this real time while at work. The eyes glowed bright as a star. Who were they?
Salute to the master teacher, Dr. Deborah Blair. I remember he went to a UFO conference in Chicago, and he said that he met with two, celestial entities. They were black, and they came from a different star system, and they had afro. So, like I said, we do have, entities here, but it's one of those things where are they going to be able to communicate with you? That's the thing. So they're here, and these entities are real, but like I said, it's one of those things where we have to resurrect ourselves in order to, be in communication with them.
Indeed.
Yeah, I forgot what the contract was, but they had a covenant with the government. So that's why, certain celestial beings, they'd be like, well, why does the government is only, these entities is only connecting with, the European or whatever? That's because they're empowered. Now we're going through a transition where we're going to be empowered, and they're going to be in connection with us. We're going to be communicating with them. That's why I said right now, the meek shall inherit the earth. So a lot of, don't be surprised when certain people just get the propensity to get up and start building stuff, because there's going to be a different intelligence on the planet right now. Happening by way of the 3-eye atlas. Don't be surprised if something like, you see Brother Rich, 5 months from now, and he's building he's building something that can levitate in the air. That type of intelligence is coming to the planet, because when you go to Lake Tahoe in that geographical area in California, you have an eradication of the oxidation levels. That's because the atmosphere is changing, and when the atmosphere changes, that causes a manipulation in your neurological functions as well, to where you're able to produce a lot more, because it creates an influx of neurons, and those neurons is only activated with melanocytes, which is basically intelligence molecules. So that's why I said that you have new energies here in order to alchemize to where you go from human to God, and that's by way of creation.
Oh, that was excellent, my brother. I was gonna end it, but let's do one more, because this is just so good, y'all. This is so good. I see frugally yours. Shout out to you. Said, Brother Rich, what is your cash app? Why, thank you for asking. Do I have, where is it? Cash app is at the bottom of the screen. Black Magic 363. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you for asking. Let's keep this thing going. We're gonna do one more question. Um, you was a part of the Hebrew Israelite community, BDell? I don't know what somebody said. Somebody had one.
No,
The hell?
I don't, because my last name is Bay. I actually, I'm saying, I was a part of the not the Nation of Islam, but the More Science Temple. But
Right. No,
my
somebody had asked it. That's why I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, where'd that come from? So they asked if you was part of the Hebrew. Yeah.
I study, certain schools of thoughts, but I don't conform myself to that organization or that belief system.
Right. All right. Last question, BDell. Is there any significance of Africa launching a new internet?
Oh, I'm new to this. I didn't know this was starting. So
Yeah, I just heard about it like yesterday, matter of fact, or a
but,
few
but,
days ago.
but like I said, don't be surprised. Like I said, we're going through a process right now. There's going to be a different intelligence. And it's one of those things where, you could say I'm capping or if I'm just making it up or whatever. But I mean, it just makes logical sense. When you get into the transliteration of the book of Revelation, it talks about how the evil reptilian gave power to the beast, and the beast is the Canaanite, which is why the Ashkenazi Jew and things of that nature is running the great majority of the corporate enterprises that's connected to this reality. So what I'm saying is that when the 6,000 years is up, the meek shall inherit the earth. So there's going to be a different intelligence. That's why I said, don't be surprised if one day you just get up and you just build something like Nature Jab. That's what I'm saying. There's something that's beyond our reality to where it's metaphysical. It's unexplainable. So you're going to have a different intelligence on the planet to where people are going to be a lot more proactive than what they are right now. That's just based on celestial alignments.
Well, BDell, with that being said, man, absolutely amazing, awesome show, brother. Leave your contact info one more time for the people, my brother.
You can find me at BDell 1014 on YouTube. You can find me at BDell 1014 on Instagram, and then you can also find me on Facebook at BDell Rice Bay. And again, my publication is coming out on Amazon on October 14th, 2025. So be on the lookout for that, and be on the lookout for Brother Rich's his workshop with Seven Bomar and Red Pill. Those times we should be creating right now.
Yeah.
Creating.
Let's be creators together, family.
Right.
Let's do this together. BDell's creating, I'm creating. We got the workshop. Please join my community, family, outside of the internet with all the bullshit that we hear about and the leak calls from Young Thug. If you want some solid information to be a part of a solid digital community, we're starting one. It already started on Discord, and it's a part of this workshop right here. You only could join if you sign up for this workshop. So I just shared the workshop. Make sure you join the workshop. It's November 1st and November 2nd. That link will get you guaranteed to be there for both days, along with the Discord community chat. With that being said, I want to thank BDell for coming on the platform. I will see all of y'all. I'll be back Wednesday. But BDell, thank you, my brother, and I'm going to talk to you soon.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. All right, peace.
All
right, peace.
Peace.
I will see y'all Wednesday.